First of all, to tell you what is, in brief, I will tell you that what is happening right now from different parts of the mountain, from bottom to top. And very briefly, I will review with you the stage of the work that we are right now. 7 of the terraces below the shrine you have visited, and you had opportunity to walk and see that more or less it's completed. And we are now doing final touches, and we are working. I don't know, a few nights ago, if you noticed, there was a shower of light on the mountain. We were adjusting illumination and deciding about the things. But in principle, these 7 terraces are complete. We are working on the rest of the terraces. 5 of the terraces above the shrine is structurally fully completed. Stonework, fountain work has already started. With full force is going on. You have seen development of the plants and shrubs on the mountain, ground covers, it's going on. And on the topest terrace number 19, and Panorama Street, you have seen that the promenade is completed. The street is open to public now. Stonework on this terrace is in progress, and trees along the promenade have been planted, and so on. And this project is again toward its finishing stage only, as far as terraces are concerned. We have started operation on Hossein Street, one of the major projects, the most complicated projects that we are dealing with right now. And as you have seen, almost half of the street is down already. Another week from now, hopefully, if everything goes well, we are going to change the traffic from one lane to down, and one more lane will be cut. Another, I would say by the end of this year, the second lane will go down, so that all the traffic will be at the bottom of the street, where we have at the moment you don't have access to it. And hopefully by Rizwan next year, the whole street the operation on the street is completed, and it will be, the main street work will be finished. Then we will start the bridge work. Already the contract for the bridge is in final stage of exchange. We have received offers, and we are working on the design and drawings of the bridge is all completed. And from when we start, hopefully in a year time, the bridge will be constructed, and then stonework, of course, will continue, but that will not affect the main traffic and main operation on the street. Parallel with this bridge work, which is a connection between terrace number 10 and 11, a very large development, Office of Public Information Center, and security complex of the Baha'i World Center is under construction. You have seen already a considerable amount of structure is on, and it's going ahead with full speed. And now we are working on terraces 12, 13, 14 to connect to the upper terraces. So really, all of these areas of the terraces are now, other than terrace 1 and 2, the lowest terraces, all of them are in progress, and we are very hopeful that within the target and within our schedule, we will be able to complete them. There are enormous amount of work that you don't see. Somewhere on the way to Shafa Amro village, you will find almost 1 kilometer square area is covered under our stone and our material for the terraces, which is all completed and it's ready, but it's waiting for us to be prepared so that we can move it in. Then we go to the ARC projects. As you know, already you have noticed that the construction of the Center of Study of the Text, the last pieces of the roof was erected last week with the help of that huge crane that came, and it's now, the work is over. That was where we put the precast roof of the main portico of the Center of Study of the Text. It's on. Stonework and marble work outside. The main marble work will be finished by the end of this year. Really, around the end of this year, building will look completed from outside. Of course, still enormous amount of finishing work and interior work is going inside, but we believe we are on the schedule as on today, the schedule that was prepared beginning of the construction and is a part of our contract. And hopefully, really sometimes after convention, 1998, toward the end of 1998, perhaps the building of Center of Study of the Text and Archives Extension, which goes side by side, parallel, probably could be even occupied based on decisions that should be made by the House of Justice and by the committees involved. But the buildings will be more or less ready for occupation. Building of International Teaching Center is progressing at full speed, more or less on schedule. We have already finished 50% of the concrete work. 50% is finished. The major work is in these levels that we are working, level 5 and 6, because the area is much larger. As we come up to superstructure and to the main construction of the International Teaching Center, quantities will reduce significantly and speed will be much faster than what you imagine. In a year from now, you will see the building almost up completely. Our speed, as on today, really has been a record, I would say, as far as construction is possible. We reached to the, almost for one building, we reached to almost 1,000 cubic meter of concrete per month, which is equal to about 10 residential buildings in 1 month, the amount of concrete. And if you had chance to go in this building, you would realize that the buildings are not at all an ordinary buildings. They are state-of-art, what is known as intelligent buildings. Intelligent buildings in the form that really, like the body of a human being, full of, at the outside it looks smooth and simple, inside is very complicated. And it's the same thing really in these buildings. Inside, the amount of ducts and pipes and electronic things that goes in, it's enormous, and that is why really tremendous amount of work is going to all of these things. And we monitor the progress with very complicated project management programs and critical path analysis with almost thousands of items on the critical path, and regularly they are monitored so that we know exactly where we are. And every month we also have a financial report that shows exactly where we have spent more money, or where we have saved some money, or where we are out of the budget, and how we have to, so that we constantly monitor our progress and our budget and our speed. And I would say that on all of those areas, we are on our targets and our goals that we have promised to the House of Justice. But with all of this speed that we have done so far, and I really believe that it is beyond any human capacity, which has been really by blessings of Baha'u'llah and by support of the House of Justice and by prayers of the House of Justice and prayers of the whole Baha'i world, it has been achieved. House of Justice in 4-year plan practically has asked us to enter to a crusade, because House of Justice has asked, we had reached to the target, we reached to a speed almost 3 times the speed of the previous construction. For example, if we look at the period of construction of this seat of the House of Justice, we have reached to the, before the 4-year plan, we reached to the about 3.5 times of the progress of that period, of this building. This building also was managed by very capable people and very speedy and the best possible way. We targeted 3 times the speed. and we reached to that target. Now, House of Justice in 4-year plans has asked for 10 times speed. That means for us to meet the goals of the House of Justice, to meet the goals of the 4-year plan, which we have to meet, so far we have not failed in that, we have to reach to 3 times more speed than ourselves, 3 times more. This is really calling for miracles. There is no other definition for that. I have mentioned this before, that the project manager of Sears Tower of United States, the most famous building a few years ago, it was the tallest building of the world, visited our projects, and he said that, I wonder, I cannot understand how you dare to open so much front at a time in such a complicated and logistically limited area. And really now at that time, he was looking at the speed that we had at that time, and now imagine 3 times more, and then you will see what is the situation. The most interesting point is that House of Justice in 4-year plan has in fact called a competition, a race between our projects, between us and the Baha'i world. It's a race, it's a very serious competition. Look at the sentences that I want to say. I want to quote from the 4-year plan of the House of Justice, because you know that, in fact, from the writings that we have from Beloved Guardian and the quotations that we have all, we know that really the construction of these projects is synchronized with evolution of the national and local communities. So it's really, it was even by Beloved Guardian, it was a race between these 2 developments. Now House of Justice in 4-year plan says, projects will stand as a monument to the progress which the administrative order will have attained by that time. So really, this is in one of the letters of the House of Justice to us about the projects. House of Justice called these projects Herculean tasks. This is not a common word used, you know that it's a Herculean task. So now House of Justice in 4-year plan has called the Baha'i world to match this Herculean task. This dazzling achievement was quoted by dear chairman from the message of the House of Justice. Now, wherever I have traveled in many countries after the 4-year plan, and I visited friends and I met friends, and wherever I was asked that, you know, what we can do, I told them that you realize that House of Justice have called you to compete with us, and believe me, your life is tough. It's not so easy, because we are working like crazy. We are moving with the speed that it is really life speed. And for those communities to match it, they cannot go logical. They cannot go, because this, as per the most distinguished project manager of United States, this is not logical. What we were doing was not logical. Now 3 times more than logical. It's something that now the national communities and the Baha'i world cannot just simply take this plan as that, all right, some more goals should be achieved. No, a Herculean task should be achieved. A real tough race should be, we will win together, not one. Either both we will win. There is no other way. It's not even either. We will win. Once we had a contractor who was working on the terrace number 10, terrace of the Shrine of the Bab, and we were planning to finish that terrace for one of the Baha'i holidays, because we thought that by that Baha'i holidays everybody goes, friends, they go after Ramatul Bahar Khanum, and so when they enter in that terrace, it's a surprise. It's interesting and finished. So we were working very hard on that. We put every pressure on the contractor to move fast, and our contractor was working day and night. There was a tremendous amount of force in this terrace, and it was finished. The Baha'i holiday was on a Saturday that week. So by Friday afternoon, they work up to Shabbat, and they try to finish everything and complete it and clean it and go. Saturday, very early in the morning, I decided to come to the terrace to see how everything is all right. Maybe we have missed some broom or something here and there. I came to see it for the last time. Very early morning, I came to the terrace of the shrine, and to my absolute surprise, I found our contractor, this Jewish friend of us, standing at this terrace and watching. I was very surprised what he's doing on Shabbat, such an early morning. You don't have work, it's finished, why you are here? So I waited for him to come out of the area of the shrine, and when he came to me, I told him, surprise, what are you doing here today? You were tired, you worked up to last night. He said, you know, Mr. Sama, all of these days we were working here, I had a strange feeling that there is a very extraordinary power here present. I thought to myself that maybe this is because of the power of the workers, and you know, when everybody runs and there is a force in this kind of atmosphere. So he thought, maybe this is the force that is like it. I decided to come today morning so that nobody is here. Then he told me, do you feel it? I was really moved to see that this is a contractor who works only for money, for nothing else. Doesn't care what we have built, what they are building. They're just, this is their job, their business. They work for money. They can work for us, they can work for a hotel, for a casino, for anything. They don't mind. It's their job. For a residential building, hospital, this or that, not important for them. But he has not been able to tolerate this strong power in himself, feeling that he has touched his heart. Another example I give you from one of our Arab workers, Arab contractors, who is doing most of our stonework, of the local stonework here in these projects, on terraces and on the ark. And he is the contractor who has built most of the famous churches of Nazareth. And I have seen in his house 3 Order of Honor from Pope, from Vatican, signed by Pope, because of his distinguished work on the churches like Capernaum and many other basilic and other churches of Nazareth. He is an old man. He has 3 sons that they are taking care of his business, but he himself has, since working with us, he has stopped working for anyone else. He does not work for any other job, only for this job. And he has told me several times that this is the job that I want to die with. This is the last project that I do for my life. Now, when he had finished the lower terraces, I went for final inspection one day, and I marked about 10 pieces of stone out of 10,000, 20,000, I don't know how many thousand stones that we have there. I marked about 10 pieces of stone that, in my opinion, they had some defects. There were some cracks, or they were not really good stone. I marked these stones. And I called him and I told him, go and look at the terraces. I have marked some stones. We should change those stones. Then I told him, come and talk to me. He came to my room, to the office. I told him, you know, I was expecting that you know what job you are working. You should have not missed those stones. You should have checked those stones. Why those stones should go to the building, and now I have to go and mark it, and you have to break it and all of that. It's not good. I was expecting more than this from you. When I said this to him, he remained silent for a few seconds. Then he went and closed the door of my room. came back. He said, Mr. Sahba, I didn't want to tell you this. I have not told this to anyone other than my wife. But now that you forced me, I will tell you. He said, you don't believe that I know what we are doing? You don't think that I really am not aware of what we are doing? He said, you know, when we started this project, I had a dream. He said, I had a dream that Abbas Afandi, Abdul Baha, you know, he's Arab, he calls Abbas Afandi. He showed a picture of Abdul Baha in my room. He said, with the same dress, standing in front of the gate of the shrine. He had a big key in his hand. He called me. I was passing. He said, come here. So I went close. He said, this key, I will give it to you as amanat, something to protect it for me. He said, it's very heavy, but you have to take care of it. Then he said, I woke up at night. I told my wife, we are doing something very special. And he said, I know what we are doing, Mr. Sahba. Those pieces of stone, I will take it out with my own finger. It's nothing. This is the feeling. And when, one day, when members of the House of Justice were visiting the terraces, the same man was there. And Mr. Nakhjawani spoke few words in Arabic to him. And then he told Mr. Nakhjawani, he said, you know, I have built all of these churches of Nazareth, but I did not spend myself 10 minutes there. I left it to people to take care of it. You see, I'm standing here, this old man, I'm standing here myself, day and night. This is the feeling of these people. And I can go on telling you these stories. We don't have time. Now, last time when I spoke, a couple of months ago, when I spoke for the same ihtifal, that now I'm supposed to repeat it, I asked from the friends that, you see, I said, now we need one more miracle. This is very important for us. Because now our time has come to the end. House of Justice have given us a deadline. We have to finish at certain time, at certain deadline. And these two terraces below the shrine, at the bottom of the mountain, is stuck with this one property there. I have requested, I told to the friends, that I have requested Amatul Bahar Ruya Khanum to pray for this, so that it's resolved, because there is no other way. And I ask from friends that please pray for this. Amatul Bahar Ruya Khanum promised me that she said, every night I'm going to say a prayer. In about 1 month time, we bought the building completely. We have now, just last week, purchased all the key money holders, key monies, because there were 5 key money tenants there. And now, by the month of February, hopefully, if everything goes well, by grace of God, we will start demolishing of that building and we will start that project. So I don't need to tell you this part. So this is really the power of prayer. That's why I continuously request from friends, and we are so obliged. In fact, now this week, a chain prayer is going to go on in Holy Land for the projects, and it's so important. Power of prayers. Amatul Bahar Ruya Khanum asked me to tell you this story, because once I told her, and she told me that I want you to repeat this to the friends when you talk, about the power of prayers, how this, in my own experience, what I have seen, what it has happened in my life, I want to share with you. At the time of the Temple of India, construction of the temple in India, there was a period that we had the most serious problems. The contractor that was dealing with our project was a very big contractor, very large contractor, and was really, had maybe tens of thousands of workers all over India. it was not only a contractor for building, this was a chain industry that from metal industry to the whole cement industry to car industry to all sort of equipment and machinery and building industry, the whole chain. The workers of this company went on a strike. The local management of the temple at that time were very unqualified. They were not capable of doing that job. We were working on steel. We have done some substructures, and we have done form work and the rest of the things, but we have not done any concrete of superstructure. These people were really not capable of doing this job, and during this labor problem, they created a serious situation because they thought they can use this business of labor problem as force majeure, and then they can completely release themselves from their duties toward our projects, and then they are free. This is a difficult job and it's not going to make money, so let it go. And because of the labor problem and force majeure, they are legally protected. This was their policy. I knew that their senior management, their headquarters in Madras, south of India, is not aware of this situation, and I knew that they are very honest and very really reliable organization. They know this, but I did not have any access to those people in Madras because they are the chairman of the company. So is like a minister of industry of India, a very important power really. And you can't just go and meet him on it because of one building, because they have for building, they have a managing director for their company, and they have these local managers and all of those general managers that they were there. And they said, okay, they are dealing with this matter. You can't go to the chairman of the board to see him about these things. But I felt this is our only chance. We don't have any other way. I tried very hard, and we found all sorts of ways and means and political pressure. Finally, this chairman told us that, okay, although I can't do anything, although the job is really beyond, I mean, it's all responsibility of the local people, but now that you are insisting, okay, if I can meet you on such and such day, 15 minutes, all the way to Bombay, because I have another meeting. He comes from Madras to Bombay to meet some people. He said, I will meet you in our headquarters in Bombay. Now it's 3 hours flight and this and that, and you have to go all the way. But 15 minutes time, and we have a job that needs 3 hours of discussion. So it was no way, but we said, oh, we don't have any other way, we don't have any other choice, because imagine strike has gone for 2-3 months, this whole superstructure of the temple is being destroyed, this formwork, tons of wood, 60,000 cubic foot of timber in front of sun and heat, 45 degrees, 50 degrees heat, rain. They are destroyed completely. I was losing all of my hope about the project. So we said, we go there. I requested Mr. Shah, Secretary of the National Assembly of India, and Mrs. Sorabji, Councillor of Delhi, that they were very good, close friend of mine, and always they assisted me and helped me with every problem that we had there. I requested them to come with me. They said, you know, we don't know anything about this business. But I said, it's important for me to have some Indian support. And I look like just a foreigner here who doesn't know anything about the situation of the country. So at least they should see some Indian faces. They said, by all means, we come, let's go. We went. On the way, we were talking within ourselves what we can do. 15 minutes, these people, all tough like this, they can't do anything. Suddenly, an idea came to my mind, and I suggested to our friends, let us rely on prayer. When we go to this meeting, we suggest that we want to start the meeting with a prayer. It sounds confusing. You have 15 minutes time with all of these people that really, you know, they don't know anything, and you want to say a prayer. We said, oh, we don't have much choice. We don't have much, there is nothing else. Otherwise, what we speak in minutes about the problem that is. So So our friends, they agreed, they said, good, let's choose. We chose a prayer. I lay all my affairs in thy hands. We chose this prayer. And we decided that Mrs. Soravji will say this prayer. So we went to the meeting. We went to this meeting, a big conference room, twice as this room, with a table with, I don't know how many chairs around it, and huge pictures of all the developments all around India and all of that. We were lost at the corner of this table, 3 small people sitting here. And suddenly, door opened and entered almost 10 chairmen of the board and 10 of his managers, like big generals. They arrived to the room and they sat at the top of the table and at the corner of the chair. So what we can do for you? We have to run. He said, you know, we are not businessmen. We are religious people. We are not building a building, we are building a temple. As a matter of principle, we start all of our discussions with a prayer. So these fellows looked at each other and they said, I'm sure they thought all sorts of confused people are in this world. I said, okay, say your prayer. We sat and started this prayer. Believe me, friends, as this prayer was released in this room, every word, I don't know what happened to my friends, but believe me, I felt with every word, this room became smaller and smaller. We became bigger and bigger. And these friends and these people knelt down in their chairs. From the corner of the chair, they sat down, relaxed. And when the prayer was finished, the chairman said, what was this? He said, I have never heard such a powerful thing in my life. What was it? He said, this is a prayer of Abdul Baha. He said, okay, what can I do for you? He said, this is, I started and went on and on and on for 45 minutes with all the details that has happened. After 45 minutes, the man who was supposed to leave us in 15 minutes, he listened to all of these things. He asked some questions, and then he told to his assistants that he told us that, you know, as you know, I am supposed to go to another meeting and I'm already late. I will go to this meeting. My friends are going to go nowhere. They will sit here with you, and I want them to solve this problem. When I come back, I want to know how and when this building will start and when it will be finished. And I don't want to have any excuse. To his friend, he said, I don't want to have any excuse. This problem should be solved today. And he went. When he came back, he had settled everything, he had agreed everything, it was done, and believe me, friends, from that day onward, everything changed. He removed entire management at site. They were replaced, all of them. And whatever we said, even the local manager of Delhi changed. All of them changed. The chairman himself, several occasions, came back to visit the temple, continuously corresponded with me to know how we are, and participated in our dedication, and he expressed that he has never participated in any more spiritual meeting than that meeting, that dedication of the temple. And this was, so really, this was the power of prayer. So you realize that how important it is for all of our beloved friends all over the world to pray for this for us. Because every day, every morning that we wake up, believe me, I personally am expecting something to go wrong. Because, believe me, I'm surprised at why it doesn't go wrong. Few our friends in Israel, everywhere, they are very keen about these projects. I mean, our non-Baha'i friends. Entire city of Haifa, entire country are very keenly following the progress of our projects. I don't know if you have a chance to read some paragraphs of these local newspapers and the Hebrew newspapers, or you are aware of what's happening. But believe me, there is not one day or 1 week that there is nothing. There is not a very really considerable article about us, about these developments in the projects. And people are very interested and they are very keen, they want to know what's happening. So really, the role that our friends they have here in Israel is very important in this way. How and which kind of information, which kind of really knowledge is spread in the city. I want to give a few months ago, the Rotary Clubs of Israel, some of the different cities here, they arranged a special gathering of the Rotary Club, and they invited me to give a presentation about our project. So they announced in their news bulletins that architect of the terrace projects and the project manager of the Baha'i World Center has agreed to give a presentation for these projects, for the Baha'i projects on Mount Carmel, and those that they are interested, they are welcome to come. This meeting was in one of the halls of the North Hotel, I believe. And a large number of friends from all over the country had come. Some of them have traveled almost 2 hours to participate in this meeting. And they mentioned themselves, they mentioned that they have traveled 2 hours to be there because they're so eager to know what are these projects. And we, dear Mr. Lincoln was present, and we had a full hall, full audience, and I spoke about the projects and I showed the slides and I showed lots of details, town planning scheme and others, and I answered some of the questions. I mentioned a few things that are very, very important. Like I mentioned to them that many of you may think that the people that they are building these projects and these buildings, because they are so beautiful and they are so outstanding, they are a bunch of millionaires. They are rich people. I mentioned to them that this is a big mistake. I explained to them about how contribution comes to us. I explained to them about how children of Africa and Papua New Guinea prepare postcards and artworks, and they sell and they contribute to us. I explained to them how we receive from every village of Asia and Africa and Australia and Pacific villages and jungles, we receive contributions. And I explained to them that the beauty and excellence of these projects is because of the respect and love that the Baha'is have toward this wonderful, most holy place for them. When recently in this situation of Iran, when enemies of the faith, they got together, they wanted to burn a Baha'i library. Baha'is of that small city got together, they started thinking what to do about it, and they were worried and sorry about their books that is going to be burned. There was a poor Baha'i shepherd in that meeting, raised his hand. He said, I have some savings. I want to donate these savings, we buy the best material, cover our books with good, clean, beautiful material, so that when it burns, it's beautiful. This is the beauty, this is the vision of the Baha'is. This is what Baha'is of the world should know, because otherwise they will think, they may ask some silly questions. What we are building here? Can't we do it a little this, a little that? We are building the city of God. Allah said, shrine of the Baha'i is city of God. The mountain, Mount Carmel, we are completing city of God. We have to do everything possible. We have to give our life to make it beautiful. I mentioned this to our friends, and they were so impressed. They liked it. They liked it. They understood. And then, friends, when I finished my talk, one of the members of the club was supposed to say a word of thanks. He stood up. Believe me, friends, he started his talk with, Ya Baha'ul Abha. I said, my God, we are in trouble. He said, he spoke to the friend. He said, friends, you know, Mr. Sahba is a Baha'i. And because he is a Baha'i, he is not allowed to teach his faith to us in Israel. So he did not say a word about the Baha'i faith. But I am not a Baha'i. He said, I want to tell you about the Baha'i faith. Then he said, you know, 150 years ago in Iran, he said, a king of kings, Shahanshah, he used this word, king of kings, decided to persecute, to put the Bab in front of a fire squad. 750 bullets was shot to him and to one of his young lovers who stood in front of him. And their body became one and their bone became, this is what he said. I'm repeating exactly what this man was talking to our Jewish friends in this club. He said their body became one and their blood became one. And then he said Baha'u'llah, who was sent to prison in Akka, decided that he should make a monument of love and sacrifice from this place. So he ordered to his followers and his son to bring the body of the Bab and his disciple to this place. And it's buried in this place. Then he said, friends, we are honored, we are blessed that this shrine is in our country. He said, this land is blessed because of this. He said, now for years to come, people will come wondering that what happened to that king? Nobody remembers where is his grave. He said, this fellow said, nobody remembers where is his grave. But everybody will come and pay respect to this monument of martyrdom and sacrifice. We have so many beautiful stories about participation of our beloved friends from all over the world toward these projects. Universal participation, sacrifices that they have done. Contributions that have been raised during these last 3-4 years is again a record in history of the faith. It is impossible to imagine. It's very difficult. I know I have been responsible for Temple Fund at the time of construction of the Temple of India, and I know that how much energy and effort has gone to raise $10 million. How much energy over a period of almost 10 years. And now, in period of only during this, the goal that House of Justice set for 3 years plan, $74 million was achieved successfully. You can imagine, compare, this is the degree that Baha'is have come up with sacrifice, with beyond. I have been present. I have been responsible for fundraising in meetings that Baha'i friend of us have donated the only house that they were living in it to our projects. We have a beautiful story that you have perhaps read it in Vineyard of the Lord, that how this one of the friends, an 18 years old Jewish refugee who escaped from Holocaust of Austria, went to Cuba and after many years could go to United States and could survive finally, recently understood that government of Austria is paying some compensation, some social insurance back to the survivors of Holocaust. So we have a letter from his children saying that today, the day that he learned about that, he said, I have to go for this money and get it and contribute it to the projects in Haifa. And then I received a letter from his children that today he received the check. And here is the check. And he said that this is money from heaven, it should go to heaven. This is the type of feeling and love of the Baha'i friends. And that is why these miracles happen. That is why these things is so majestic. And whatever we do here is attracting so much attention. Although these projects are very big, very gigantic for us, for Baha'is, because we are limited in our resources, because we are limited in our most of our Baha'is are poor. It's too much for us, but in the scale of this world is nothing. It's nothing. Every single shopping mall at the corner of Europe and United States is costing more than this. More than these projects. In fact, it's so cheap for us. It's nothing. You can often see on the Haifa Bay, look from my windows, I look at the sea and I see these huge monster warships that they come to for friendly visit, thanks God. They sit there and you can see 20 ark projects sitting on the, and all of them are going to be scrapped in 10 years' time, in 10 years. And people are going to pay another 10 ark projects to destroy them because they are atomic. So it's nothing to compare with this, but it makes, because of this love and because of this blood of our Baha'i lovers that has gone to that, it becomes so majestic, it becomes so attractive, it becomes so center of attention. People think that, my God, Baha'is are they are the owner of the whole country. But for God's sake, look at that. It's only 1,000 meters long. It's not that big. But it attracts that much attention. It is so majestic. It's a crown of the city. And it should be like that. It is. This is the reason. Some people, they think that the attraction that we have in our projects, the attraction that we have at the Temple of India now with 40 million visitors during last 10 years, it's not because of anything but because House of Justice, on putting foundation stone of that temple, House of Justice wrote a letter to the National Assembly of India and said that the glory and majesty and success of this temple will be in sharp contrast with sad events at the cradle of the faith. This was just beginning of the problems of Iran. And House of Justice wrote, more martyrs, more prisoners, more suffering there, more visitors and more glory we get here. And that's what we have.